How good's that intro, by the way? I absolutely love that. I got that specially made for this trip. Little cartoon me and you, absolutely unbelievable. We're here in Hockey Social Club today, by the way, just filming a little bit of a preview to our America trip. We are going to every single game over there. Big shout out to Hockey Social Club for having us, by the way. Fantastic location, just down the road from the Jewellery Quarter. So if you're a fan coming down for a bite to eat or some street food, beers, whatever, they've got a fantastic facility here. So again, thank you very much, Hockey, for allowing us to film here today. Today, we are just chatting through our America trip. We are going to America, all 3 games over there in the pre-season tour. We will be at every single one. Absolutely buzzing to get over there. You will be seeing this on Thursday or Friday, I believe. We will fly out on the Saturday. I'm absolutely buzzing, mate. Absolutely buzzing. Initial feelings?
Yeah, buzzing as well. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? We booked it. When was it? When it first got announced, which was
early April, I think.
April, yeah. So it's come around really quick, actually, hasn't it? So yeah, can't wait. Only ever been to America like a couple of times, and that's only to New York. Never been anywhere else in America. So yeah, looking forward to it. Following the Villa away, abroad. You can't beat it, can you?
Yeah, absolutely. And this video is sort of just giving me like some sort of preview, talk about our itinerary, what we're going to get up to, video plans over there, because this is massive. Like, I've never been to America, and doing a pre-season tour over there is going to be absolutely fantastic for content for the channel. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, honestly, the content we're going to create over there is going to be absolutely fantastic. So please subscribe. I've got a content plan. There's going to be 9 or so videos over there. We're going to be doing podcasts, obviously the usual match day vlogs over there. There's so much content on the way. So like I said, if you haven't already subscribed, please do that, because yeah, the content is going to be another level. So let's talk about the plan then a little bit. I already said we're flying from Gatwick, sort of midday on Saturday, I think it is. Flying to New York. Like I said, never been to America, never been to New York, anything like that. So I'm absolutely buzzing. We're not in New York for long, are we? Because the first game is in Philadelphia on the Sunday. Playing Newcastle, I believe it is, which will be a fantastic spectacle. We'll come on to that in a minute. But yeah, I think we're in New York for about 3 hours, then we get the train to Philadelphia, which isn't too far. I think it's about an hour and a half on the Amtrak. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Amtrak.
Yeah. So I'm not used to all the sort of Americans. I didn't even know they had trains or anything like that, because I know America aren't, they don't have trains and things like that. So we get to Philadelphia on the Saturday night, and then match day against Newcastle, which I think is going to be fantastic, because obviously we're playing them first game of the season. Literally, what would it be? 3 weeks later?
Yeah.
Do you reckon it's going to be sort of further on in the pre-season? We're going to see more of like what Emery wants to do in the season, and then the early game in America will be sort of just like a run out like the Warsaw one was, or are we actually going to go full on from the start? Because we're playing Premier League teams. We're not playing a Kidderminster at Telford. So are we going to go all out, do you reckon?
I think the first game will be like a run out, a fitness run out. If we're being honest, it'll be like another level up to Warsaw, won't it? I think you'll have players probably playing again, probably an hour, I would have thought, and then they'll change it. Some will be replaced at half time, depending on the fitness level. So the lads coming back from their extended breaks after international duty will probably only play like half of that game, for instance. But so yeah, I think the first game will be like that, and then I think as we get through the tour a little bit more, I think we'll up the tempo, try and get 70, 80, 90 minutes in the legs, sort of thing, obviously before we come home. So yeah, the first game will be it's a funny one, really, because it's probably our biggest test, isn't it, really? And yet it'll be more of a fitness run out, I suppose, rather than looking at it from a tactical point of view. But yeah, it will be interesting. I think the opposition we're playing out there is good. It's top level, isn't it? All 3 sides, the sort of sides we were competing against last season, one way or another. And so yeah, I think it'll be a really, really good test. And you have these pre-seasons where you play against teams that aren't so great, and you wallop them 6, 7, 8-0, and you think, well, what's the point? You'd rather be playing teams that are going to challenge you and are going to pose a challenge in the coming season, and these 3 teams are going to do that. And so yeah, I think the first game will be a bit of a fitness exercise, a bit of a kick around, and then we'll get a little bit more in depth in the other 2 games, probably. I
want to mention the stadiums as well, because I wasn't aware of this like when we first booked it and things like that. The stadiums that we're playing, I think the Orlando one is actually a football stadium, so it's not massive. It's sort of like championship standard, so it's still decent. But the one in Philadelphia and the last one as well in Washington, they're in massive baseball stadiums, which I'm buzzing about. Obviously never been to any sporting event like baseball, American football, anything like that. So that's going to be something brand new as well. These massive sort of 80, 90,000 seater stadiums. It's going to be mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I wonder how many tickets they've sold. I'd like to know that, because they're not going to, obviously it's not going to be like a full stadium or anything like that, but yeah, you hope the atmosphere is decent. That's the only thing. You can get lost in such a big stadium, but no, it'll be good to see it. Like massive stadiums like in America, obviously we've never seen anything like that. And as you say, the one in Orlando, it's a bit more of a It's kind of like a championship sort of stadium, but it looks like a good. It looks like a nice ground though.
It's a different sort of vibe. It's not a classic English football stadium, the one in Orlando. It does look like it's got that American vibe. I think it's got like a big stand behind the goal, safe standing and stuff all there. So it's going to be fantastic. And there are designated like Villa sections, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll be in there with all the American Villa fans. I don't think there's many going over from the UK, to be fair. I think I know of a couple. But it's just going to be great to meet all these American Villa fans, isn't it? Because I think we went to America, Minnesota 2019. Apart from that, I might have done a couple. But for them, it's going to be massive. We saw how good it was in Australia last year with all the Australian fans over there, absolutely loving it. I can't wait, mate. Just meeting all the Villa fans for us personally, them seeing Villa, it's massive.
And that's it. Villa's such like a worldwide brand, isn't it? And I think we saw that when we went over to Dubai and Abu Dhabi back in December. You know, that they've got like a massive contingent out in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and it's the same in America. There's absolutely loads of Lions clubs over in America. There's like multiple ones, and some of them have got quite a lot of members, and so. I think there'll be quite a few. I think there'll be a fair few people, especially because it's all on the East Coast. It's they're not too bad to get to for a lot of people. Okay, the Orlando one is a little bit further south, but they're still all on that east sort of coast, and so yeah, it'll be fairly easy for a lot of people to get to over in America. So yeah, it'd be good to catch up with everybody. And as we say, Villa is such a worldwide brand, and I think when you're here in Birmingham, sometimes you can forget about that a little bit. You get lost a little bit with that, but we've got fans worldwide, and so. To take us on tour, take us close to people who might be expats or might be Americans who have grown up to be Villa fans. Some of them will probably be seeing Villa for the first time, and so yeah, it'll be really good and really good to meet everybody.
Yeah, I'm just buzzing for the stories as well, to speak to all the American fans, like those who aren't expats. Why do you support Villa? That sort of thing. So it'd be great to meet and speak to all the people who watch Villa on tour over there as well, because I know get plenty of messages from people in America that watch the channel, which obviously massively appreciative of. And like you said, when you're in this sort of Birmingham bubble, you do sort of forget that people do support Villa and watch the channel that are so far and wide. Literally, the comment section on videos is like big support from here, all over the world. So it'd be great to meet everyone over there who watches the channel and things like that. We'll get back to the itinerary then. We've got that game in Philadelphia on the Sunday, and then literally in the morning, really bright and early on the Monday, we fly to Orlando, which will be fantastic. Got a couple of days there, to be fair, to rest and all that sort of thing, because it's going to be a lot of traveling. It's going to be early mornings, late nights, especially with doing the videos as well, because there's going to be so many. It's going to be full on. But we get to Orlando, have a bit of a chill day on the Monday, and then Tuesday, I think, is going to be your highlights of the holiday.
It is, yeah. So we're off to Universal on the Tuesday, aren't we? So. You can't go to Orlando and not do any of
Once in a lifetime.
any of the theme parks, can you? And so there's loads of them, and I wasn't bothered about doing Disney, obviously, but I just wanted to do Universal because, I just love like Jurassic Park. I know they've got like a massive Jurassic world sort of part of Universal. So we're only doing one day, so we're going to have to sort of.
There's going to be a lot of steps in that day.
Yeah, we're going to have to sort of like identify exactly what we want to do, because it's going to be busy as well, because it's going to be like, obviously it's the summer and there'll be a lot of people on holiday and stuff, so we'll have to sort of prioritise what we want to do, because we won't be able to do everything in one day, which is fine. But yeah, so that'll be good. But I think the time to chill in Orlando will be quite nice, although I think the weather is going to be really
the weather.
warm,
The weather. I mean, I was literally on the drive here, and I was hearing how there's heat waves across America, and then you look on BBC weather or whatever, and you look at Orlando, and it's just rain, but it's like 34 degrees. It's going to be hot. It's going to be sticky, but do you know what? We won't care, because we'll be in America following the Villa. So to be honest, we won't care. Hope it's not like that when we're walking around Universal, but we will see. And obviously, we've got a game on the Wednesday. That's against Fulham. Fulham on the Wednesday in that stadium in Orlando, which will be very decent. Again, a good test against a good Premier League side. Obviously, we'll probably see a little bit more of what Unai Emery wants to do, like we've said, things like that. I think before the game is really what I'm looking forward to, because we've already seen it. The guys in America have already sort of planned out what pubs we're going to, and they look decent, because I don't want to stereotype whatever, but the beer situation in America, that sort of thing, is it as good as it is here? I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to that. I think there's like a tap room and things like that, which is straight up my alley. Absolutely loving that. And just the sort of pre-match atmosphere, it's going to be brilliant before the games. And there's like a march to the stadium, that sort of thing. Very American. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, as you say, the pubs look really good, don't they? You've got the one in Philadelphia, and then I think it's an Irish bar in Orlando, isn't it? Where we're going to. We've obviously arranged to meet up with some of the New York Lions, aren't we, in New York while we're there as well. So some of the pubs look look really good. I'm absolutely buzzing for it. I think the only one we're waiting for confirmation on, I think, was the Washington one. I think it was, but I'm sure we'll find out before that, because obviously that is the final game of the tour. So yeah, I'm buzzing for it.
Yeah, so that'll be on the Wednesday, late on the Wednesday, that game against Fulham, and then Brighton early on the Thursday, fly back to New York, have a couple of days there, which will be brilliant. That's probably the location that I'm most looking forward to going, New York. You've been there previously a couple of times. But New York, it's just going to be fantastic. I think on the Thursday, we'll be doing some content there. Friday, we've got some plans, haven't we, to go and see the sites and do all the tourist stuff. And then, like you said, we've got that event on the Friday night at the fantastic location the New York Lions hang out in. So that'll be absolutely fantastic on the Friday night. Have a few beers there. Saturday, we travel to Washington on the train. I think that's quite long, isn't it? Is that about 3 hours?
Yeah, it's about 3 hours to Washington, yeah.
So that'll be long. And then we've got the game on the Sunday, midday US time against Brentford. So again, a great test against Brentford, and in a new city in Washington, see the White House, all the sites. We're going to be very touristy, aren't we? But I can't wait to see all those sites.
Yeah, we've got a lot to pack in, obviously, because we're not in any of these locations for too long, apart from Orlando, really, which was probably our longest time, and New York, I suppose, because obviously there's no game in New York. In Philadelphia and Washington, we haven't got a lot of time, so we're going to have to pack a fair bit in, really. We're going to have to sort of hit the streets sort of early in the morning if you want to do any sort of touristy things, going to the White House, etc. But you don't go to Washington without seeing those sort of sites, do you? So I think we've got to tick it off, even if we're only there for a short amount of time. We've got to do it. But yeah, so I think it's going to be a tiring trip. I think, like as you say, it's going to be a lot of early mornings, late nights, but on the go all the time. But you can't beat it, can you?
So I put out on Twitter and Instagram if people have got any questions. This one comes in on Twitter. It says, where will the players be training / their home base in the US? I believe it's Washington, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Their training base where they're set up is going to be Washington, which is our final game. So we'll see what happens there. See if anything happens in terms of training sessions or anything like that. But,
so I think when we went to Dubai, they had open training sessions, and it was brilliant. So good to watch training and meet the players after. But I don't think, depending, we probably won't get that.
I think our itinerary might put a dent in that, just because of we're not in Washington until the Saturday, and then the match is on early on the Sunday, isn't it? So our itinerary might put a dent in if there's any sort of open training sessions for ourselves anyway. But yeah, we'll see.
We will see. Any Villa fans in Washington or the surrounding area, keep an eye out for open training sessions. I highly recommend it. Like I said, done a couple. It's so good to sort of see the insight and hear the players, hear the coaches. If you do get the opportunity to go to something like that, do it. This is quite an interesting one, actually. Any idea if the away kit launch will be done? Probably. I believe it will be a great sort of marketing sort of ploy to launch the away kit while we're over there. Then they did it in Australia, didn't they? Did they launch a kit in Australia?
Yeah,
that'd be quite interesting.
It was the same again. I think they did the away kit in Australia last year. So I would assume so. I mean, who are we playing? We're playing Newcastle. And we could wear the home kit in that one, but then we've got
Brentford. You'd have to change.
We've got Brentford, which you'd probably have to change. So, I mean, in pre-season it doesn't matter anyway, because you alternate it anyway, don't you, with teams depending on what you've released. But I'd expect to see. I don't know. I haven't got any information on that, but I'd expect to see it, because if you think about it, we're in America from the 22nd. And then the final game's on the 31st, and so you'd expect the away kit to be launched by the start of August.
It's a crack on.
I'd say so.
It's classic Villa, isn't it, to just wait so long to launch the kits. So yeah, probably expect the away kit to be released while we're in America. Not including Archer, which youth do you think will have a breakthrough in the US tour? I don't know. I think you mentioned to me that it might be quite a small squad going over there. Do you reckon he is going to take, sort of, for example, all the players who played in the second half against Warsaw, Kellyman, O'Reilly, Chris N, players like that? Or is he going to keep it sort of tight, keep it sort of 17, 18 balls?
I don't think they'll all go. I don't think all the young players will go, but I think the key ones that come to your head, so the likes of Timo Rogbenham,
Cam Archer will go, obviously.
Cam Archer, Aaron Ramsey, probably Josh Feeney. I think those ones probably will go. I don't think the other ones who are a little bit further down the pecking order will.
They'll go out on loans, won't they? We'll see Sinicello is expected to go out on loan. These they'll play like the Warsaw game, and then they will get shipped out when they get a little bit more interest. So be semi-small squad with a few youth in there, wouldn't it?
I think the one who possibly might get a go is, watching him yesterday, was Bogard. I think he looks good, and I think he's highly rated by Villa. We all know that he's really highly rated by everyone at Villa, and it felt to me like yesterday watching him that his I don't know, his performance is sort of. I think he just looks better after his loan from Bristol Rovers. I think he just looks better, and I wonder whether Emery might want to have a little bit more of a closer look at him, because, like I say, I know he's highly rated at the club. He's had a lot of injuries, but he's back now, and so I wonder whether Emery might want to have a closer look at him. So I think there'll be a core group of maybe 4 or 5 who go over. I don't think we'll take 10, 11 like who were involved yesterday at Warsaw, but I think there'll be a core 4 or 5, I would have thought.
Yeah, so there's always sort of like in pre-season, there's always sort of like a breakthrough youngsters and there, things like that. So it'll be quite interesting to see who gets to play over there, because that will tell us a lot about who Emery fancies and things like that. So that'll be an interesting one. This is quite interesting. This is a question from Instagram, which is like a content-based question. Are you going to be doing podcasts while you're out there? 100%. That is what I'm buzzing about. I think in my little content plan I've got, hopefully we're going to do some sort of podcast in Central Park, hopefully do one somewhere in Orlando. So the content plan is fantastic. And just, can you imagine doing a podcast in Central Park and just hearing New York around you like that? It's going to be so good.
And Central Park's ridiculous. It's like you step into Central Park and you think, oh yeah, I'm in Central Park, and you haven't even touched Central Park. It's that big. It's like, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, if we can, well, we'll definitely find. I was going to say find a quiet spot. You'll definitely find a space in Central Park. It's absolutely huge. And so yeah, a nice little podcast in Central Park. It'll be a bit different than, you know, doing our usual podcast when I'm sitting on my living room floor wearing it sort of cross-legged. It'll be very different than that. So yeah, no, it's going to be great.
Yeah, in terms of the videos, they're basically going to be every day. Like, we're going to be doing something every day, probably apart from the Universal one. I'll probably leave that. I'll get some clips from there, obviously. Probably, I said to you, Josie, I'll strap a GoPro on your head when you're on the when you're on the road. You know, like that lad who does the trains. Imagine like a GoPro on Simon's head when he's on the roller coasters. But they'll pretty much be daily videos. Like, I'll share the plan before I go, and I already have briefly on my Instagram, sort of when videos will be up. But it's going to be hard because of the time difference. Like, I'm going to be sat there editing. Well, I'll have to upload a video at like 5 a.m. because it's 10 a.m. at UK time. So it's going to be a lot to think about. You'll be sleeping soundly while I'm editing away on my laptop. So It's going to be a lot, but we'll probably just wrap it up there, to be fair. I'm just so excited for it, mate, because it's going to be so different. Obviously, we did Dubai in December, but that is going to be different to this because it's not like a designated pre-season tour. That was something different. It had vibes of pre-season, that trip. But this, because we're traveling all over the place, we're seeing so many sites in so many cities. I'm just buzzing for it, mate. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, I think I said to you when we booked it, it felt kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, didn't it? And I think it made it easier for us because the tour is on the East Coast. So for us in the UK, obviously, it's easier for us to get to because we can fly to pretty much any of those locations fairly easily.
Minnesota was just no chance.
Yeah, exactly. And so it made it quite affordable because we got in there quite early, and like I say, the flights were fairly reasonable because we could fly to New York or Washington or anywhere, and it's not too bad a flight time sort of thing from the UK. It doesn't take that long, and there's loads of airline carriers. So yeah, but it sort of felt like a once in a lifetime thing, and so I've never done a pre-season tour before. Like I say, I remember when the Australia details got released last year, and you were kind of looking at it, but when you saw the locations of it, and they weren't great in Australia, the locations, and then the sort of the price implications of it. I mean, you know, we've got this for less than half what probably even like a flight and one hotel would have cost in Australia.
People will be interested in the price, and to be fair, it's an interesting talking point. And because we booked it, I swear we booked it literally on the day of it being released, or we had a couple of days to figure out what we were doing, but we pretty much booked it in a matter of days of it being released. And obviously the prices since then have just skyrocketed. So to get it for the price we have, sort of in prime time, school holidays, sort of, you know, summertime, prime time, got it for a decent bargain. So we absolutely can't complain on that. So it's going to be very, very decent. Villa fans over in America, please come and chat to us. Please come and get on the videos because it's going to be, like we said, once in a lifetime. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Leave your comments. Let us know what you're looking forward to content-wise, because I'm looking forward to creating a lot of stuff over there. But without further ado, mate, the next time we will see them lot will be in America. Buzzing.